Do you think you can stay calm when something bad happens to you? Or do your emotions still dominate your reactions? Regardless of your answer, listen to the next story. Once upon a time, there was a man named Gabriel who was struggling immensely with anger and frustration. He sought a way to better manage his emotions. To solve his problem, someone advised him to seek the secrets of a Zen master named Arjun. When they finally met, Arjun smiled and asked Gabriel to sit down before beginning. To find the solution, you must first hear 2 stories, Arjun said. The first story was about a king who ruled over a prosperous country. One day, he decided to visit a neighboring kingdom after hearing that its king was the wisest in the region. When the visiting king arrived, he was warmly welcomed by the neighboring king, who hosted a grand banquet in his honor. But there was a big problem. During the banquet, the visiting king noticed a strand of hair in his soup and became quite irritated. The host king noticed and said, "Your Majesty, please, don't be angry. It's just a hair. It doesn't matter." The visiting king replied, "I cannot tolerate such things. Even a single strand of hair can ruin my mood and spoil my day." The wise host king then said, "Your Majesty, allow me to give you some advice. It was not the hair that ruined your mood, but your reaction to it. You have the power to control your emotions. Don't let them control you." The visiting king deeply reflected on this, and when he returned to his kingdom, he began practicing the art of not reacting to situations that previously triggered his emotions. He discovered he could remain composed in challenging situations and make better decisions. His entire kingdom benefited from his newfound skill, enjoying greater development and quality of life. The ability not to react is an important lesson for all of us. Often we react to situations without thinking, which can lead to negative consequences. Reacting with anger or frustration can harm our relationships and hinder our ability to make clear decisions. However, it's important to understand that not reacting does not mean suppressing our emotions. Emotions are a natural part of the human experience and should be acknowledged. What we should avoid is reacting impulsively. Instead, take the necessary time to process emotions and respond thoughtfully. For a king, it must be much easier to control emotions. They always have someone to serve them and solve their problems, Gabriel observed. Arjun smiled. Kings are human, and all humans face the same internal struggles. But I understand your point, which is why the second story is about someone like you. This story was about a man named Marvin, a very emotional person who often reacted impulsively to situations that bothered him. Whenever Marvin got angry, he would say offensive things and end up in heated arguments where feelings were hurt. One day, Marvin decided to take control of his emotions. He realized that his impulsive reactions were causing more harm than good, and he wanted to change. He started practicing mindfulness and meditation, and most importantly, the art of not reacting. Whenever he found himself in a situation that would normally trigger his emotions, he closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and evaluated the situation calmly before responding thoughtfully. In theory, it seemed easy, but at first it was difficult for Marvin to control his emotions. When anger and frustration took over his mind, it was almost impossible not to react impulsively. But as Marvin continued practicing self-control, he realized he could remain calm and serene. Marvin also noticed that his relationships with others improved. He no longer engaged in arguments or hurt people's feelings. Instead, he communicated calmly and thoughtfully, which helped him build stronger and lasting relationships. One day, a new coworker approached Marvin for advice. The coworker was going through a tough time in his marriage and felt very shaken. Marvin listened to his friend's problems and offered words of comfort and support. The coworker thanked him and said, "You always know what to say. It's amazing how you never seem to get angry or upset like I do." Marvin smiled and replied, "It's not that I never feel angry or upset about bad things. I've just learned to control my emotions and not let them control me. That has helped me improve my relationships and overall well-being." The important thing to remember is that bad things will always happen to us, and how they affect us depends on how we choose to react. Impressed, Marvin's coworker became interested in the art of not reacting and soon began practicing it too. Over time, he and Marvin became known at work for their calm and thoughtful demeanor. They handled difficult situations with ease, and people admired them for their wisdom and composure. The art of not reacting is a valuable lesson we can all learn. It requires practice and patience, but the rewards are well worth it. By controlling our emotions, we can improve our relationships, make better decisions, and live a more fulfilling life. The stories of the King and Marvin teach us that we have the power to control our emotions. While we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we react to it. By practicing mindfulness and the art of not reacting, we learn to respond to life's adversities and problems more thoughtfully and sensibly. It's a powerful tool that can help us improve our relationships, well-being, and overall quality of life. Master Arjun then gave his final piece of advice. Practice and cultivate this powerful skill and allow it to transform your life for the better. Gabriel nodded, transforming into a new person, wise and serene, as unshakable as a Zen master. A king of wisdom. And you? Have you been practicing the art of not reacting? How has it impacted your life? Share your story in the comments. Peace be with you, and see you next time.